All right, so thank you very much. A very good evening. Thank you for joining us on News Tonight. My name is Kweku. Temeng. Tonight, yes, we've loaded you with political stories. We'll be bringing you some other local stories making headlines in the country. But don't you forget that we'll be updating you with some business stories and also filling you in with some sports updates. Do stay with us throughout the 1 hour bulletin. But before we give you all the details, let's look at some of the top stories that we have for you tonight. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, ECOWAS courts grants former CJ Tokonu's application to amend her lawsuit against Ghana, challenging her suspension from office to include her removal as Chief Justice, and orders Ghana to file an amended statement of defense within 30 days.
Illegal mining will continue.
Also coming up tonight, President John Dramani Mahama vows decisive action against illegal mining in the country, reinforcing a government stance that persons caught in the act will be dealt with without fear or favor.
Illegal mining will continue to be confronted decisively and without fear or favor.
So we'll bring you more on our local front tonight as decision day for the MPP, already stirring up controversy with the GHOne camp raising red flags over the transfer of some ballot papers in an unapproved vehicle ahead of the presidential primaries tomorrow, January 31. Also in the bulletin tonight, banking consultant cautions Bank of Ghana over its decision to increase minimum capital requirements for some financial institutions, warning that capital hikes could be adverse for the sector. And then you want to join us when we get to the international front as former CEO over his role in a January protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota. All right, so tonight we have these and many other interesting stories making the 1 hour bulletin. Just stay with us because, yes, we'll combat the length and breadth of the country. Our reporters are on standby, getting ready to give you all the updates that you're looking forward to. Be my guest, stay with us. We're coming back shortly with all the details. My name is Kweku. The program is News Tonight, and thank you for choosing us. Well, we'll move away from politics tonight and start from the courts as the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has directed the Republic of Ghana to file its amended statement of defense within 30 days to respond to former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu's amended lawsuit challenging her removal from office. Well, this was after the ECOWAS court panel of 3, presided over by Justice Sengu M. Koroma, granted her application to amend her initial claims following her removal from office despite an oral opposition from Ghana. Well, the former CJ in action filed in July 2025 was challenging her suspension from office that has since September last year been removed from office. Well, Femi Falana, her lead lawyer, had argued that the amended was necessary to reflect her dismissal as Chief Justice and the subsequent removal as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, which occurred after the initial statement of claim was filed. Well, Deputy Attorney General for the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Justice Remsai, had argued that the amendment was an attempt to delay the matter and that the court, prior to dismissing her injunction, knew there was a committee dealing with the petition seeking her removal. Well, the court, after hearing submissions, granted the application and directed Ghana to file its amended statement of defense within 30 days. Hearing notice will be served to the parties on the next date for the hearing. Courts, let's move to the presidency, where President John Dramani Mahama says the fight against galamsey remains a top national priority and will not be compromised under any circumstance. While speaking at a graduation ceremony at the Ghana Military Academy on January 30, the president vowed to tackle the menace decisively and without fear or favor. He, however, urged all Ghanaians to join in the national effort, describing the fight as a shared responsibility that goes beyond government alone.
Forests and river bodies have been declared security zones. Permanent military bases have been established, and offenders have been arrested and are being prosecuted. Rivers such as the Pra, Ankobra, and Ofin are gradually recovering. Let me be clear. Illegal mining will continue to be confronted decisively and without fear or favor. But this fight requires national unity. It is a moral, civic, and generational duty. And I call on all Ghanaians to stand together to restore and protect our land.
Away from the presidency, we'll take some politics at this moment. And the assurance tonight is that we're bringing you all the details of political stories that you are looking forward to. Well, just before we launch into the MPP, let's take something from the other side of the divide, and that's the NDC. As the former chairman of the Ayawaso East National Democratic Congress, that's Olabode Williams, is challenging what he describes as machinations against the character of parliamentary aspirant Hajia Amina Adams. Well, Hajia Adams, who is the widow of former Ayawaso East MP Mahama Nazir Tuare, has been a target for slander within the opposition camps for her decision to rise in politics over the mandatory mourning prescribed by her beliefs. Well, according to Olabode Williams, the sole agenda of Hajia Adams is to continue her husband's works and not to self-centered narratives being pushed by her opponents.
As a party, we should not be doing this to ourselves. Just because by-election is coming and she's winning and people are supporting her, then people will formulate, try to lie in trying to destroy this gentlewoman. It will not wash. She has been with us. And I can tell you, ever since I took over from 2012, this woman has been helping the constituency. Many of them, or many of our people who have challenges and problems, go to this woman for help. Anybody who says Hajia Mina is not competent must once again be telling this to the Marines. The late MP has left a legacy. And this is the time for us to bring her to come and continue the good work he has started. So for me, she has done a lot. And she's a strong member of the party, an active member of the party. Nobody can tell me, as a former constituency chairman who has served this party for almost 31 years, to come and tell me Hajia Mina is not a member of the party. She's a strong member of the party, she's an active member of the party, and she's somebody who is always on the ground, solving people's problems, especially the youth and the women. This is the first time Ayawaso East need a female to champion the cause of the party in Ayawaso East.
All right, so away from the NDC, we're now looking at the MPP, and here the MPP flag bearership race is on. The countdown is on. We're getting ready for all the coverage. This is EIB Network.
EIB Election Hub. Credible, compelling, and comprehensive election coverage on TV, radio, and online.
All right, so we remain that official outlet that will be bringing you all the details on the MPP flag bearership race. Of course, your channel should be right here with us on GHOne TV. And obviously, if you're listening to radio, then it is Star and Kasapa. And then we will cross over with our affiliate stations throughout the country. Within the next 24 hours, we're bringing you the best coverage on the MPP flag bearership. race. But let's give you a tip of the iceberg as in not just a party, but Ghana's path to the 2028 general elections begins. Well, 5 aspirants, 1 ticket, thousands of delegates. This is the road to the MPP flag bearer for your 2028. Strong wording, meek persuasion, all tools employed in one underlying message: vote for me. In fact, not for me. Vote for them. Well, from the pulpits to the new media, many narratives have been shaped, and it ends on January 31 with Arena. Well, who will lead the elephant to becoming the winning symbol? My colleague Issa Abela explores.
MPP heads into a defining internal contest to elect a new presidential candidate ahead of the 2028 general elections. Still reeling from its defeat in 2024, party leadership says the early presidential primaries forms part of a broader strategy to reorganize, rebuild, and re-energize the party's base.
This decision that the NEC took, it will stop 3 things. 1, it will stop unnecessary insult and attack to personalities. If you look at Kweku report, 40% of our loss has contributed to the utterances ourselves.
They maintained that selecting a flag bearer well ahead of time allows for reconciliation, message alignment, and nationwide restructuring ahead of the new electoral cycle. But the move has not been without controversy. Others argued that the party should have prioritized internal reforms and post-election restructuring before returning to a competitive flag-bearer race.
Too much rush to election. We don't live in this world just to be elected. We come into government to help the country, not just to win elections.
Despite the disagreements, 5 candidates emerged to contest the race. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former Asin Central MP Kennedy Ohene Ejapong, Abetefi MP Dr. Brian Champong, former Education Minister Dr. Yao Osai Educhum, and party stalwart Engineer Kwabena Eje Ejapong, each positioning themselves as the leader best placed to make the elephant the winning symbol. The campaign period has been marked by sharp disagreements among camps, with debates over leadership credibility, electability, and responsibility for the party's 2024 defeat. At several points, the contest degenerated into a war of words, a battle of accusations, and sharp rhetoric across platforms.
A candidate who wants people to vote for him will look eyeball to eyeball and lie. He's a big liar.
Me obia me pen kabum enti mutie me kasa me kasa ntia obia me didi obia tem me kirema adwen because me nim say mudi franka ne hye me sa me fa ma frɛ obia se ombembe ka me ho na ye nyina nkopre enje tumi no
kene o se ba o mi akoka se eko se cheduma se koka se ehonu bebefo na edodo ho no ye pepe ni nti omuntu aban fama no na nkono na beka bi wo as akaman mu a anka eno ababedane asem.
The 5 aspirants on January 22 signed a peace pact pledging to accept the outcome of the primaries and to rally behind whoever emerges victorious.
All right, so tonight you can join us on our social media platforms. Make your voice heard. Out of the 5 candidates, who are you rooting for and why? But just obviously, I won't let you just go into the prediction just like that. You might bring in your analysis, but some election posters have posted, of course, who they think is the right candidate. My colleague Isaac Abela has joined me here. He has some analysis to share with us. Isaac, it's a delight seeing you tonight. So, yes, who is saying what concerning these 5 candidates?
Well, Kweku, the pollsters have given different predictions.
per what we have here. We have predictions from Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa from Global Info Analytics, and Dr. Evans Dia, who also predicted that Kennedy Ejapong will win with 52%. Musa Dankwa predicted that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will also win with 57%, with Kennedy having 28%. So we decided to explore the worst case and best case scenarios of the polls. So we decided to first of all consider Dr. Evans Dia's poll on Kennedy Ejapong leading with 52%, and we decided to look at his worst and best case scenarios. Now, with Dr. Evans Dia polls, he projected that Kennedy Ejapong, if things go well for him, that is the best case scenario for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong, he will be winning 13 regions, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will win 3 regions. Now, he says that in the worst case scenario, if things do not go well for Kennedy Ejapong, he will be winning 10 regions, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will win 6 regions. But the differences between his poll and Musa Dankwa poll of Global Info Analytics is that Global Info Analytics has predicted that Musa Dankwa, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be winning in 14 regions. So 14 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia from Global Info Analytics and 13 for Kennedy Ejapong from Dr. Evans Dia. So these are the regional breakdowns for the polls in the cases of best and worst scenarios. Now, Kweku, if you look at the screen, you can see that the Musa Dankwa in his poll also asked delegates, he also asked delegates as part of his polls, that how likely are you going to change your voting intention between now and 31st January 2026, which is less than 24 hours away. And the polls were released, and the viewers too, and his respondents gave their feed. And 9% says they are likely to change their intentions. So from the day he took the polls till tomorrow, 9% of delegates say we are likely to change our intentions, our voting intentions. 20% say they are neutral. They cannot make any decision, but when they get to the ballots, they will be able to determine. And then 71% says they are unlikely. They are not willing. They are not likely to change their votes when it comes to the polls and when they get to the polls tomorrow. So that is the voting intentions of some of the voters. Now, we also decided to look at Musa Dankwa's poll on the regional basis when it comes to how likely they are going to change their voting intention between then and January 31 based on each candidate. And so we looked at Dr. Brian Acheampong. 15% of delegates said, look, we are likely to change our vote from Brian Acheampong. 20% says they are likely to change their votes for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong. 2% says they are likely to change their votes for Dr. Yao Educhum. 63% says they are likely to change their votes for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And 0% says they are likely to change their votes for Kwabena Eje Ejapong. Now, the neutral too, we have 7%, we have 31%, 1%, 61% for Dr. Bawumia, and 0% for Kwabena Eje Ejapong. Now, unlikely, a number of delegates who said they are not willing and likely to change their votes. 7% said they are likely to change their votes for Dr. Brian Acheampong. 32% said they are likely to change their votes for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong. 1% says they are likely to change their votes for Dr. Yao Educhum. 60% of delegates said they are likely to change their votes for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and 0% says they are likely to change their votes for Kwabena Eje Ejapong. So throughout this poll, we realized that Kwabena Eje Ejapong has 0%, 0%, 0% throughout the poll and the pie that we looked previously. And in all, we have 100% of pollsters who say 100% based on the percentage that was tracked out by Global Info Analytics. So, Kweku, that is briefly how the delegates are going to vote based on regional basis for Dr. Evans Dia, and also the regional breakdown for delegates who are voting for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong and Bawumia. Kweku.
All right, Isaac, thank you. Thank you. We're grateful for all this information. Wow, what a breakdown. So this is a tip of the iceberg. What you should be expecting tomorrow. Seasoned reporters all over the country bringing you analysis. Now, you hold on a minute, because what I'm I'm going to do now is to take you across the regions of Ghana, just give you a feel of what we are expected to bring to you tomorrow. Now, let me take my stance to the region that they say education started. Obviously, the central region. And Kwabena Ejekum Banahene is standing by for me. Kwabena Ejekum Banahene, thank you very much. Our viewers are all wanting to know preparations in the central region. Can you bring us up to speed on what is happening?
Well, thank you very much, Kweku. All is set for the primaries tomorrow, and in fact, the grounds are very solid for both parties. But when we had the information on the ground yesterday, in fact, 2 days ago there was this crash between the people of Brandi Champon and then the people of Bawumia camp, and it wasn't easy. So later on, the Central East Police Command called both parties to address and advise them not to do so because tomorrow is set for the election. Moreover, in fact, a lot is happening, but the people of GHOne, the camp, are waiting for a massive victory against last 4 years, what they did. In fact, they want to repeat history coming tomorrow. And the people of the camp of Bawumia are also gearing up to make sure that they, take that power from there because that was last 4 years. There was a lot of, seats that GHOne won. In fact, it was very massive. So this time, Bawumia is also gearing up that they will win those areas so that they will be emerged as winners. In fact, before that, the Central Regional Police Command, in fact, Central East, the president of DCOP Unto has called both parties, aspirant reps to make sure that they outline their measures. In fact, the people who are voting, we are expecting 1,519 delegates to vote coming tomorrow. But they have outlined some key measures that, in fact, if you are a delegate, you don't come there with phone. If you are a delegate, you don't come there with phone, come and cause problems. In fact, so they have also made sure that they will beef up security so that they will not record any, messed up, events at the scene. So the police are also making sure that they protect people's lives and make sure they also protect the media also. So, in fact, it was yesterday that we heard that this crash is, giving us tension left, right, center because of what the supporters from Brandi Champon did against the camp of.
All right, so we.
A lot, and I spoke to the secretary, and he said that in fact everything is set, and he's making sure that he will talk to everybody to make sure that there will not be any chaos, and he will also make sure that whoever wins, they will support the agenda of the person, and make sure he also goes on with whatever he did can just to help the party. So Senya is we are all waiting for the election tomorrow, and media guys have also been advised not to do what. In fact, they should go beyond their line.
We're grateful
so that there will not be any.
for all the analysis. It shows how the central region is warming up ahead of tomorrow. And Banahene will be on the grounds with several other reporters, making sure that the central region is giving extensive coverage. But let me take you up north. Kasim Idrisu is standing by in the Upper East region. Kasim joins me with the latest from the Upper East region, so long as the MPP flag bearership race is concerned. Kasim, let me first find out the general mood amongst the aspirants in the Upper East region, even ahead of tomorrow's polls.
All right, so over here in the Upper East region, I think everything is set for tomorrow election. Both delegates, party, executive, and everybody's moving on smoothly. When we talk of a security, I hear in their numbers, Upper East is one of the areas that security is most important to the area. So they've employed more security in the area, or deployed more securities in the area to make sure these elections goes on peacefully and end peacefully. And as we speak now, tomorrow, 31st, we are expecting 8,864 delegates to cast their vote, God willing, tomorrow in the Upper East region, which the Boku Central will be taking part with the Bogatanga Central leading with more delegates. They have about 886 delegates, and then the least delegates or the least constituency in the Upper East region here is the Bogatanga East, where they have 256 delegates. So all is set. We've spoken to delegates. Don't forget that recently there were some threats on some people, delegates, as to whom they are going to vote for. Some traditional authorities believe that some candidates among the 5 candidates are behind certain things. And they said a lot. So when we contacted these delegates, they said they are going to practice their democratic rights. So tomorrow, they are going out in their numbers. They've informed the security to guide everyone to vote whoever he or she wants to cast his vote for. So tomorrow, all is set from the Upper East region.
Just before you go, the grassroots is what matters here, so long as the Upper East is concerned. So your little interactions with the grassroots of the MPP in the Upper East region. Indeed, what have they been saying? Amongst the 5, where is the vote seem to be swinging to, and what should we look out for tomorrow?
In fact, in the Upper East region here, the grassroots and then the youth, the voting here there's a competition in this particular place, Upper East region, because we have a Kennedy Ohene Ajapong who has more strong supporters within the region. MP, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia also have more supporters, that's the youth. And Brain Achampong also came in later. He has been able to also get more votes. So in the Upper East region here, for the youth, you could see them moving up and down. Everyone have the surety that by the end of the day, his or she candidate will emerge victorious. So they want to play their game so that they won't be disgraced in front of their leaders. So they are all playing their games and they are moving up and down, door to doors, communicating to the people to know how they are going to support them tomorrow, God willing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kasim Idrisu. Kasim Idrisu is our Upper East regional correspondent. And just like you see what the grassroots is saying, obviously, we are bringing you the widest coverage that you should be expecting in the country. Indeed, our reporters are stationed all throughout the 16 regions of Ghana, and you should expect that we'll leave no stone unturned. We'll go down and bring you all the details that you're looking forward to. For now, let me take some stories, and we'll go back to our correspondents as the flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party, that's Kennedy Ohene Ajapong, has raised concerns over the transportation of ballot papers ahead of the party's presidential primaries scheduled for January 31. Well, in a statement, the campaign said intelligence gathered by its security team suggests that the Electoral Commission has insufficient vehicles to transport ballot papers to all 276 constituencies nationwide. Well, the camp claims that while the EC has approved the use of some private vehicles bearing EC stickers and escorted by the Ghana Police Service, there have been isolated instances in the Ashanti, Western, and Greater Accra regions where ballot papers were allegedly moved without the approved arrangements. Well, the campaign has therefore called on both the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police Service to heighten vigilance and ensure that appropriate measures are put in place to guarantee a free and fair elections. And this is coming from Kennedy Ajapong's camp. We now will move on to our Eastern. All right, so we'll move on to the Eastern region. We want to test the waters in the Eastern region. Our Eastern regional correspondent, Kojo Ansa, is standing by to bring me all the updates. Yes, you can see him on your Zoom. It tells you our coverage throughout the country. Already, we've been to the Upper East. We've given you a feel of the Central region. It's now the turn of the Eastern region. Kojo Ansa, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Of course, our extended coverage tonight of the MPP flag bearership race is what you coming through with. Share with us the Eastern region, exactly the mood, the preparation, if all the logistics needed have arrived, and indeed if you have been speaking to the grassroots and what they've been saying?
Well, so in the Eastern region, I must say that the Electoral Commission is ready for tomorrow's election. The Security Service, i.e., the Eastern Regional Police Command, Eastern South Regional Police Command, then Eastern North Regional Police Command have all expressed their readiness for tomorrow's election, with deployments starting this evening. Those who are going to remote constituencies have already been deployed. This morning, there was a show of force by the Eastern Regional Police Command, where police officers led by the Regional Police Commander, Joseph Owusu, marched through the principal streets of Koforidua to demonstrate that they are ready for the election. In an interview with the media, he said that the police is not going to countenance any troublemakers in this election, and that if you have a mindset that you're going to foment trouble, then you better revise your notes, because they are not going to take chances. They're going to ensure that they deploy even on uniform security men who will be gathering intelligence for operations to arrest such people. But among the delegates, it's been months and days of intense campaign, because, in the Eastern region here, we have one of the candidates, Dr. Brana Champon, from the Eastern region. And that makes it interesting because it looks as if from the regional executives to constituency executives, there is a division. The regional chairman, Jeff Kunedu, and some members of parliament in the region passing or galvanizing support for Dr. Brian Champon, because they say he is coming from the region and they have to deliver the region for him, for other regions to follow suit. So it is something that has, made the campaign activities and the entire election interesting in the Eastern region. But then, Kennedy Ohina Japan and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, their campaign team are also, going around and intensifying their campaign, making sure that their candidates also galvanize, enough votes in this particular election. So that is the interesting dynamics here in the Eastern region as far as this election is concerned.
Well, Kojo, before I let you go, in the central region, a bit of tension reported early on. Fortunately, the police had to step in. I want to find out from you. The Eastern region is a hot zone also. Have you had any slight incidents of tension coming up, brewing up anywhere that you'd want to share?
For now, we've not recorded any incidents. It's basically during the campaign period that there were exchange of words, particularly regarding some allegations made by the regional chairman, Jeff Kunedu, indicating that Dr. Brian Champon, during the 2024 campaign season, sponsored and financed some members of parliament in the region, by which these MPs came out strongly. Just 3 days ago, the member of parliament for New Dublin South challenged Dr. Brian Champon to come clear, and that he did not take any money from him, and that he was able to prove that the money that was given to him came from him, Dr. Brian Champon. He, the MP, that is, Honorable Oshibefi, says he's going to pay the money back to Brian Champon. So apart from this exchange of words regarding 2024 campaign cash, it seems to me that the region has been peaceful. With regards to this particular campaign.
Kojo, thank you very much. We're grateful. Thank you for that magnificent show of EIB's readiness for the Eastern region. Definitely from now till throughout tomorrow, he is bringing you up-to-the-minute report. Whatever would come up in the Eastern region, you should be sure that he will be bringing you all the details as he leads the coverage there in the Eastern region. Well, let's come back into the studio and pick some stories, and then we'll also have some interviews. Well, as the New Patriotic Party gears up for its presidential primaries, security agencies and election managers in the Bono East region have given firm assurances of a peaceful process. Now, with thousands of delegates expected at polling centers, both the police and the Electoral Commission say they are fully prepared to protect the integrity of the vote. Other than that, there would be no room for troublemakers.
About 8,000 delegates are expected to cast their ballots across 11 districts in the Bono East region. The Ghana Police Service and the Electoral Commission in the Bono East region have cautioned that they will not tolerate any form of disruption or interference during the exercise.
The security for this election is solely and exclusively made for the Ghana Police Service. So we are not expecting any third force in terms of this election. We have 75 for every polling station. Outside is also made provision for rapid response to take care of any issue that may crop up in the course of voting.
The assurance follows the sole mandate given by the MPP to the police and the Electoral Commission to oversee and manage the conduct of the party's internal elections.
We won't have body counts. They'll soon live. We want to have scanners at the entrances to scan for all the unwanted materials that may filter. There are those who want to foment trouble and later go and cry victim. We are ready for them.
The command says while the primaries are expected to be peaceful, any individual or group attempting to incite trouble will be dealt with in accordance with the law. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has also declared its readiness to deliver a smooth and credible process, insisting it will protect the integrity of the mandate entrusted to it by the party.
We are in full charge of the conduct of the election. No party executive, election committee again. We are going to handle it the way we have been handling normal elections. Every voter has one vote, and every voter will come and vote as individual, no matter your status. If you are coming with measurement, they cannot enter. You are going to enter the arena individually.
The Commission says all necessary logistical and technical preparations have been completed to ensure that delegates vote freely and confidently.
All right, so Riley, as we've been touting, we remain that outlet, EIB Network, bringing you exclusive and extensive coverage of the MPP flag bearership race. Definitely your channel should be with us on radio, TV, and online as we bring you all the coverage that you'll be looking forward to. Well, our political desk head has joined me now. Ibrahim Al-Hassan comes through to the studio, all in the name of these 5 aspirants. Who is doing what you should expect, and also about our extensive coverage. He has all the updates on it. Ibrahim, thank you very much for your time tonight. So it's exciting having you here because several things that we need to know. Yeah. Share with us in a run-up to tomorrow's activities with the MPP. Yeah. Can you share with us your own opinion? Who has done what? And the chances, let me add this to what posters have also been saying.
Yes, it's been quite interesting, to be honest. It's been fiery in some instances.
Remind me of a few.
Oh, so,
go ahead.
So for instance, Brandon Champong, and then the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, right? I won't say it as a contest, right? And at the point, Dr. Bawumia had a reason. Had a reason to respond. Again, one of those comments were taking a dig at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and describing him as a liar. Subsequently, he apologized, right? Because the premise upon which he made the claim against the former vice president ended up not being true.
Okay.
Right? So then he had to apologize, right? So the shots, as expected, have been coming in thick and fast. But of course, at a point, they were made to sign a pact, a peace pact. Yeah. And the peace pact will be tested tomorrow.
You think they will stay quiet?
It will be tested tomorrow.
Okay.
So tomorrow, after it's all said and done, in fact, on this network, by this time tomorrow, we should know who's winning and who's losing. Because we should have the figures from the constituencies, the figures from the regional policing centers, and we should be able to establish a trend by this time. right? So if you have invested emotions into tomorrow's exercise, eat early. So by 3 p.m., you should have your dinner.
I don't know why you remind me of my football days amongst others, but just go ahead.
Yes.
I mean, this is purely political.
Oh, yes.
You're bringing it here also.
Yes, you must eat early.
All right.
Right? Because polls will end at 2 p.m.
Okay.
By 3 p.m., some of the results will start filing in. By 3:34, we should begin to establish a trend. And it's easy. We just compare to the results of 2023. Even though the delegate list has now been expanded to over 211,000, right? But you look at the performance of, say, GHOne Japan in 2023 in, say, Ashanti region. What is the performance this time around? What was the performance of Dr. Bawumia? What's the performance this time around? If we're able to get about 20, 30, 40 polling stations in a region, you can establish a trend. If we're able to do 2 regions, 3 regions, 4 regions, and compare to how the 2 leading contenders performed, and even look at how the 3rd contender, and that's Dr. Brian Champong, is performing, that should tell you whether he's taking votes from the 2 leading contenders or he's not, and a trend will then be established, right? So that's why I say, if you have invested your emotions into tomorrow's exercise, eat early. By this time tomorrow on this platform, you should know the smoothness levels of all the 5. Right? So the campaign, of course, bit here, bit there, it's been quite interesting. Dr. Yawaduchum was on this platform. He had mentioned that he had done 200 constituencies. So left with 76. But even that, he had his assigns who were traversing the length and breadth of the constituency and are campaigning for him. Brian Champo announced that he's done all the constituencies. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he says he's done the constituencies twice.
Okay.
Right? Every constituency has done it twice.
Gone the second time.
Exactly. Wow. Right? That should tell you something. Others have been engaging the delegates through the media. It's all means of getting to the delegate. But tomorrow, the cookies will crumble.
Let's come to EIB Network. I've assured our viewers, I've assured our listeners, and I've assured our readers also. Tell me the plan, what we intend giving them.
Well, so tomorrow at 7 a.m., all things being equal, will be airborne. And so we'll tell you about how the polls are opening and they are starting. Interestingly, as I mentioned, the polls will close at 2 p.m. So there should be enough time during that mid-afternoon to late afternoon for the sorting and then the counting to be done and for the collation to be done. So by 6 p.m., we expect the EC to finish with its collation, go to the MPP headquarters and make the declaration, because that's what will happen. The EC will collate the results at its headquarters. Of course, the party will do its own collation at its headquarters. But once the EC is done, the results will then be sent to the party headquarters. A declaration will be done by the EC officials. And then the winner will be given the opportunity to address the party and then the nation. And I'm sure the vanquished will equally be given the opportunity to say a thing or two to throw their support behind the winner. So that's it. But it's quite interesting. The polls are varied, right? Many of the polls, I've seen 3 of them saying that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will win. One of them saying GHOne Japan will win. The best poll will be taken tomorrow, right? But I can tell you that from where I sit, GHOne Japan will do better than he did the last time asking. As to whether that will be enough for him to emerge victorious, we wait to see. But it will be what we call political miracle for GHOne Japan to win and also for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to lose. That will be a political miracle. In fact, it will be a miracle that we've not recorded in the annals of our political history. If Dr. GHOne Japan wins tomorrow and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia loses, right? But from where I sit, I've seen that the grounds have not moved. They've not shifted away from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. What do I mean by that? The party campaigns, right, who are the movers and shakers, are still with Dr. Bawumia. You saw MPs, over 60 of them declare support. The counter argument is that will be just 60 votes. The real votes are at the constituency level,
Definitely.
Right? The delegates.
Somebody say fear delegates, Ibrahim.
Exactly. And that's why we say that.
Yeah,
we are not saying it's impossible for GHOne Japan to win. but Kennedy Apon's victory will be described as a political miracle. Okay. That's the point.
All right, so we wouldn't leave even the smaller contenders out. Indeed, Kwabena GHOne, former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Yaw Sayed-Duchum, former Minister of Education and MP for Bosomtwe, and then definitely Brian Echampon, that's Dr. Brian Echampon, Member of Parliament for Abetifie, former Minister of Food and Agriculture, and then Kennedy Akompreko Ohene Ejapon, former MP for Asin Central and prominent MPP politician, and then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, with all these names getting all the coverage on EIB Network, definitely we should be your choice. Tonight we're ending early because there's a documentary coming up shortly. My name is Kweku. It's a delight staying with you throughout. Stay on, enjoy the documentary, and remember that when it comes to information, education, and in fact, all the political stories that you're looking for, it comes here on GHOne TV, extended EIB Network. Imam Wajo, a very good evening.
EIB Election Hub.